Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of our Saved You a Seat webinars. We are excited to talk about reporting and analytics capabilities in SoftPro today. We are joined by Lisa, our Senior Reports Business Analyst here at SoftPro, and Akanksha, our Senior Reports Developer. So they are going to walk you through all of the reporting capabilities and everything that you need to know in SoftPro. And as a reminder, today's episode will be recorded like all of our Saved You a Seat webinars are. We'll make the recording available on our blog after today's webinar concludes. So you guys as registered attendees will all receive an email likely tomorrow when that recording becomes available. And then if you have any questions during today's webinar, feel free to type them in the question box and we'll do our best to get any of your questions answered. So I will go ahead and kick it over to Lisa to get us started.
Thank you, Ellen. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll get started. Not sure if you all are aware, we have a few hundred reports located in our application. They're designed to help you monitor productivity from opening an order to remittance and everything in between. Reports that come with the application are located in all of our modules as well as the register and ready doc areas of Select. The default reports are part of the core software. The package updates are uploaded to our doc portal monthly. So you'll want to come out to softprocorp.com and you'll come over to support. You'll come down to the document and report downloads, at which point you'll want to scroll down to the bottom of the screen and you'll see a visit documents portal. You'll want to click on that. You can follow the instructions here in the hyperlink under the word here. You can log in if you have an account. If you do not have an account and need one, you can sign up for one. Once you sign up, or if you have an existing account, you'll want to subscribe to that package, and it is under National. It is named Default Documents and Reports. And so when we upload that within 24 hours, you would get a notification saying it's ready for you to download. Let's see. For customers that have been with us for a while, you're probably aware that we had a supplemental package. It has been now merged into our default package. So supplemental is no longer available. However, if there were any reports that were not able to be merged into that package, we went ahead and we left them, and you'll notice that the word enhanced appears, and that is so that you don't lose that functionality and you can still have that reporting capability. We also now have F1 documentation. So if once you're in Select, if you hit F1 Help, it will take you into the welcome page. You'll see right off the bat that we have our reports guide for Proform right here. It will give you a table of context for all of our reports. And the awesome thing about this is all you need to do is click on the name of the report. It will take you exact to that page because there are quite a few pages, hence I said there were lots of reports in here. So if you ever are wondering, oh, I want, do they have a report? What does it do? What's the logic behind it? I highly suggest you come out to F1 Help and take a look. You can go into any of the other modules, if you will, and you can find where the other documentation lives, such as ProTrust reports right here. It's the same concept. It will provide a table of contents, same, and you can click on it and it will take you exactly where you need to go. You'll have the parameters that are available along with what the report looks like. So you can see if it provides you the information before you're trying to hunt to fill in data to see what comes back to the report. It's all provided right here. So it's a great new feature, and I'll show later how we are linking that documentation also within the report when you run it in just a moment. So I want to mention that there are a couple things that work in the background when we're looking at our default reports, and this applies to all of them. When you are the profile that you are logged into, there are settings, and it controls how the report, like what data is coming back to the reports. And those two filters are here. There's a data visibility and then there's a data access. And depending on what these are set to, also contributes to the results seen on the reports. So if you're ever questioning why an order is not showing maybe from a higher or lower profile, you might want to take a look here. Another piece that affects a lot of our default reports is, so there's an office parameter that appears on the reports, and it is, the logic is controlled within the order, and it's looking to order type. So if your order type is title only, it's going to come over here to the status screen, and it's going to look at what contact has been marked as the title office. Now, all other types will be the escrow office. So you can go ahead and you can add whatever you need to here and the reports will still work. It will just then look to the escrow office, whoever is marked here as the contact, for what is, considered the office in the reports. So I just want to bring that to your attention. So how can reports help you gain useful business insight? It's a great question, right? First and foremost, marketing source, right? How you drive your business, what's going on, where is it coming from? So we have this report and you can, either show appreciation by sending cards out, or wherever business has dropped, you can go ahead and reach out to them and maybe ask why, or, just so show some concerns, say, I'd like to, get more of the business. What do we need to do? Those kinds of things. So it will bring back any orders that do not have a marketing source entered, like maybe somebody forgot to market, maybe it's early on. That's one thing to consider. You see how this data is, a lot of it's missing, but then it will show who is marked as the marketing source. But that is controlled by the indicator in the order that is this little star here. You can either highlight and hit the little star, or you can go into the contact and check this marketing source box. But that is what is this grouping, what causes this grouping here on the report. So there is also, I want to mention, throughout a lot of our reports, there are details boxes that are, I apologize, it is not on this one. We'll get to, yes, yes, it is, my apologies. You'll see when you check this box that you're going to get more information. So you'll see these first two lines, that was there when you didn't check the box. When we bring details via checkbox, we have the the italicized labels. So that'll tell you when you're looking at it that that's additional information and that's how it's appearing. This could be helpful. You could find out, was the marketing source maybe involved with one of the other contacts here and just maybe not the marketing rep, etc. So it provides a lot of information. Another report that you might find beneficial is our daily order summary. This is a snapshot of multiple statuses, if you will, of an order. So what you'll find is you'll have your new orders that have been opened. You'll have your closed orders. Now, you can control it either by escrow close date, title closed. You'll want to look at the different parameters to see what it applies to you. Same with the canceled counts. But then they're scheduled to close, which is based on your settlement date, and then you'll have canceled as well. The great thing about this report is you'll be able to see on this line a comparison between this year and the prior year. This will be helpful to compare business. Are you seeing a different spike at this time of year versus last year? Those kinds of things. This is what we call a summary. If you need to see the details, there is a detail box that will provide you the orders that make up those totals. So you could come in here and you could take a look You can grab the order, look a little bit more into the details if you want. You'll see all of the dates that have applied to that order to make the counts fall within those columns. Also, if you wanted more information, because this isn't giving you names or contacts or anything, you can look at our opened orders report and our closed orders report, and it'll give you all of the order information that you would be looking for. Let's see, so money, let's talk about money. The fees by bill code report is what we consider our revenue report, our out-of-the-box revenue report. This is going to give you all of your money, be it via a revenue contact that is posted in the register, or your bill to contact is a revenue contact and the invoice is in a sent status. You'll want to make sure that you appropriately select the parameters before running the report. But the thing I want to mention here on this is it will track voids. It will also track when you are moving or changing a bill code. And here's an example where you have, I had an amount that was posted to a revenue contact. The bill code was not selected. So it originally was in a not entered group, but because I have entered the bill code now, you'll see where it was there for $2, it was backed out of that group and it is now posted into that bill code group for that amount. So it's a ledger type situation, but it'll track the voids, but also keep in mind that if you change your bill code, it is tracking that as well. So it's looking at the money pretty much all of the time, no matter like whatever changes are happening to it. I also want to mention that, so I mentioned revenue contact on this, and let me clarify what that means. When you're in your contact screen, this box would be checked. We do have a version of the report that does not require this to be checked, and that is the disbursements by bill code. It is the same format as what I've just shown you. It just doesn't require that this box be checked. So if you're looking to assign bill codes to pass-through fees and you want to check on them, you most certainly can, to make sure that the correct bill code is assigned, maybe before posting. Excuse me, not before posting, but after posting, to make sure that it's got the correct assignment.
Lisa,
yes.
we've gotten a couple questions, if you don't mind answering those really quickly before you go on to the next item. So we had someone who mentioned that on that left sidebar, they have the My Reports folder and then Order by Status. They don't have the marketing folder. Could you explain why that may vary for some?
It could be that you a newer default package needs to be installed. Anytime that you would see a difference in the tree here, my tree is the most up-to-date version that is available on our docs portal. So
got it.
That could be the difference.
The documents portal is available to all customers, and you can create a login and view all the documents and reports in the portal by visiting docs.softprocorp.com. And then a second question here, someone asks, are all reports real-time reports? For example, if I run a report for the March period on April 2nd and again on April 5th, can the content for March change depending upon actions taken between the two run dates, like running it on April 2nd and then again on April 5th?
Oh, that's a tricky question. So our reports, they're pretty well static, but I will say the fees by bill code report. So if you're running, this is the one that comes to mind, right? Because you're running your end of the month reports. Any activity that has happened after would be then appearing in April. So let's say you ran it for March, it will stay static for March. If you made a change in April, it would show on April. Your original posting and any activity that was in March would stay. Hopefully that answers the question. And I say that's tricky because when we get into custom reports, that's where there could be a concern.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Sure. We got everybody's questions so far then?
Well, we had a couple more that just came through, so give me just a second here.
Sure.
Someone asks for the marketing source report, how do you run it so that it shows business from each agent? For example, my marketing source is Remax, but I want to know how much business each agent gave.
Each agent. So we're talking about main contact, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I am reloaded that guy. We want to look at this one. Why am I just keep insisting on clicking the wrong thing here? My apologies. Let's see. So you can group by marketing source. You can do marketing source main contact, which would just be the people. But I believe what you're looking for is marketing source and marketing source main contact. So for example, Remax, right? My orders are not set up like that, but let's say, you know, you have Lisa Manginelli as an agent for Remax, and then you have, you know, Ellen as a main contact on a different order, but it's the same Remax company. Then you would see a breakdown. You would see, as you would like, Remax would show here, and then Lisa Manginelli would show here with her orders, and then Ellen would show down here with her orders. So I do believe that's what you're looking for.
Great,
And I hope
thanks.
that helps. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
That's it for now.
Awesome. Okay. So let's see. I went over fees by bill code. There's there disbursements by bill code does not require the revenue flag, but there is the fees by marketing source. And what I want to point out on this particular one is there's always concern about you know, commission, right? So one thing to look at is although that this says marketing source on the title, you do have the ability to run this in group by marketing reps, so that at which point then you could see how many orders belong to that rep via bill codes. So how much money is coming in from that rep, maybe for a particular product or, you know, particular fees, etc. It's just something to maybe take note of. Let's see what else. Interesting things here. Oh, let's see, disbursements by Payee. This report is pretty handy. You can see what has been paid out to a particular contact. So maybe you're seeing how much business that you're sending to an abstractor. Now, an abstractor typically isn't going to be marked to marketing source, so that's maybe not the best, you know, report to use, but you could run it by abstractor and see how many payments have gone out to that abstractor. Also, along at the end of the report, there is a total. And I bring this up because this report is also used to issue 1099-Ms. It's something that can be utilized to use to issue them. Depending on how you've set your order and, you know, contact, you could come in here, you would run maybe for a particular run, or you can run for all of them, because what will happen is at the end of the report, it will break down the total per payee. So you'll get your orders that make up that total on the first page. Here will be your total, and it will do all of them. It'll break each and every one of them out in this grid, so that maybe you only are issuing a 1099-M at the end of the year and you only want to do one. This is a way to go about it. Now, if you're doing them individually and you haven't gone through and done them during the year, then you would have your orders that you could go in and take a look at as well. Tasking reports. So how can I see what is in, you know, needs to be done versus what has been done? Tasking reports are a great tool. You can come down, you can look at certain products, but also you can, based on what your selections are above, you can you'll have a pick list of tasks. So maybe you're like, I just want to zero in on one particular task. How many need to be done? Maybe you need to shift some work around, pull a team member in from somewhere else to help out, whatever it may be. this report will give you some information. It'll tell you who it's currently assigned to, what status it's in, where the order is at in the process, and the information. You have your title examiner, escrow officer, etc. on down. Now, there's a little check mark that will be seen here. If it is a check mark task, you don't see it on this, but you'll see it in just a moment, because I'm going to run the completed report. So if you're wanting to find out how many have been done, maybe either by a particular person or in a certain date range, you can go ahead and run this report. And like I said, here's the little check mark. It indicates that it's a checklist task versus a requested task. So hopefully you'll find this information helpful to managing your business. Another report that will help with workload balance is the orders by employee. So received by, you have another option of escrow officer, title officer. Again, you might be interested in seeing how many have been assigned to an individual. So again, a lot of our default reports will always have a not entered group, which it just means these orders have not had an escrow officer assigned yet. When they are assigned, they then will fall into the following groups, and it's by the individual. So Brandon here has 4. Courtney has 2. Oh, because there are 2 loans, that is why you'll see that order coming in twice. So there's a little bit of extra work. So that's how it's looking at it. So you might say to yourself, well, Courtney has 2, Brandon has 4. The next few that need to be assigned out might need to go to Courtney. It's just a way to help manage that workload balance. And then we have the orders by contact. This is a very popular report. You would need to pick contact type. I've had a lot of customers ask, can we open this up? We worry about performance, so that is why it is structured this way. I get that question all the time. I just thought I'd put that out there right now. But if you need to know, who's the listing agent and how many orders and like kind of what process they're in, what type we're looking at, those kinds of things, this would be beneficial. And you'll see, again, the not entered, right? But then I have Harbor View is entered. I don't have a main contact, so that agent name is missing, but you still get the information and you can start to fill in any information that's needed. Now, here's where I mentioned earlier about the details box. I'm going to run this again and show you. I'm going to check the details box this time, and you'll see there'll be, again, a difference in information. You'll see that there's more information being brought in here. Again, the labels for the additional details are italicized. But I want to go one step further on this particular report. And I just mentioned that when you're looking for something as far as data, you might kind of want to peek around everything, in so much as we do have, just running it straight, we have the details, but then we have this format for Excel. And I'm going to tell you, this report contains a lot more information. It has the contact that you selected. So remember, we have Harbor View here. It will have the address, the entire address, along with the email, the phone number. But then here comes in the contact person and all of their information. And it brings in everything that you saw plus a little bit more. So as you're going through and saying, oh, is there a report that does X? You might want to really take a good look around and see if there's something available that fits your needs before considering custom. Although that we would love to create a custom report for you, that this information might already be here and available to you. So speaking of custom, the reports that we've been discussing up until this point, they are all default reports. They are free. They are used by all of our customers across all states. There are probably going to come a time where you consider custom, and it would be a particular process or situation that is unique to your operation. We can, however, take a copy of any existing default report and add that additional information. You might come and you're like, oh, this report is great, but I just need this piece added. We can absolutely do that for you. We just do not change any of the existing defaults that are in your system so that you could fall back on them should something happen with your custom report. And then we also can go completely from scratch. So if you come in and you have, custom fields or certain things that you want reported on, we can absolutely, create a custom report that will grab that information for you. And we can, present it however is best for you to process those results. So if you are interested in getting a custom report, you would reach out to our support team. They'll gather the initial information, and then they'll send that over to us, and the reports team will start to process the objective that you're looking at covering. So we'll kind of already have some questions formulated. Now, we might reach out via email with those questions, or we'll reach out to schedule a call with you. So once the requirements have been determined and finalized, a quote will be sent over. And then once all that paperwork is sent back to us, then our accounting department will go ahead and tell us that we are good to start development. And our turn time is typically 2 to 4 weeks as we complete the development and 2 rounds of testing. We just ask that once it's delivered that you review that report within 30 days of delivery so that we can make any changes or adjustments and get that back over to you. Are there any questions before I pass it over?
I think we're good for now, Lisa. There were a few more specific questions that came through that we will answer offline. So anyone, if you submitted a question that wasn't answered live, we'll follow up with you after the webinar. But that was it for now. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Akanksha will go ahead and go over Power BI dashboard.
Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. Now we're going to talk about our dashboard product, SoftPro Select Power BI Dashboard, and its awesome abilities to convert raw data into insightful and interactive visualizations. Now, this dashboard product, it's built using Microsoft's Power BI application. This is only available to our on-prem customers as of now because of the technical requirements that are involved related to the Microsoft connections and securities. You can set up to 8 data refreshes throughout a day. So for example, if you like your dashboard to be refreshed after your business hours, you can set it up at the end of the day. Or if you like your dashboard to be refreshed every hour during your business hours, you can do that as well. It allows you up to 8 refreshes in a day. This product already comes with multitude of reporting capabilities, which is already built in for you, but we can also customize it for you. So once you download the dashboard and have everything ready and set up, this is the landing page. This is where you're gonna see the information first. This page gives you a quick count of how many orders you have in process as of now, what's your opened or closed count for the current year, how much of revenue or transactions was posted to your escrow office or title office. On right hand side, you have a calendar, which is a scheduled closing calendar, which shows you the potential closings, which are scheduled for the months or future months based on the settlement date. So for the month of March, if I have to plan something, I can come here. It gives me a quick glance on, hey, I have a closing on 27th, I have something on 13th, I have something on 27th. So it gives you a quick idea of whenever you're planning for your month, it will tell you these are the closings which are already scheduled. There's a right arrow here. So if you want to go look into the closings for future month, you can do that as well. It also provides you the option of looking into this view as monthly, or if you are a weekly planner, you have that option, or just provide you a list of orders which are planned to schedule. Once you hover over those order numbers, it's going to also provide you who the buyer and seller is at a quick glance. We have a profile drop down here, which gives you a list of all the profiles you have in your SoftPro Select. But if you do not care to see the numbers about all the profiles, but maybe certain offices you work in, you can pick and choose those profiles as your offices, and dashboard will remember that that's your selection and those are the only profiles you care about, and it is going to retain the selection. So even if you log out and log back in next time, it is going to remember that, hey, these are the only profiles you care to see the numbers for. Now this profile drop down is synced through all the tabs. So I made the selection for the profile on the dashboard tab, but if you see here, it retained the selection. It still shows me only data for these three profiles. Now, if I have to go and uncheck it and say, hey, show me data for all the profile, and if I go back to the dashboard tab, it remembers that now we want to see the information coming from all the profile. So just the profile drop down in blue is synced throughout all the tabs here. Okay. From the in process to forecasting tab is just a detailed explanation on how are we reaching this number here. So if I have to click on the in process tab, all these tabs are going to provide me a definition on left hand side that tells me how the orders are coming in here. So for any order to show up on the in process tab, either their order status should be blank, in process, or hold, and their escrow status should not be closed. So it has to meet this definition for it to show up on this tab. On top of that, we have few additional filters as well. So for your organization, anything that is considered in process has to be strictly order status of in process and escrow status of in process. You can come and make those selections here. And as I said, even if you log out and log back in, Power BI dashboard is going to remember, hey, that's your definition and this is what you saw last time, and will retain it. On top of that, we have these additional filters. So if you want to know how much of a business a marketing source is bringing in, you have the option to choose that marketing source, and you'll see everything here. All the other visualizations are going to filter down to only show you the orders that contribute from that marketing source. Apart from that, we have these filters, but you can click on a pie. So for example, if I just wanted to know what are the orders Ralph Wade is working on, his color is brown or dark orange, and you click on that pie, and you will see everything else is going to refresh to only show you the orders that are related to that escrow officer. So you can click on any pie, any order, and everything instantaneously refreshes pertaining to that order number. Also, we have this order details on each of this tab. So for example, if I just go ahead and make a selection for this marketing source, you'll see the order details table filters down to those 9 orders. You can click and export that information into Excel. So consider a report, an in-process report based on marketing source or title officer or escrow officer. You can consider multiple report that can be extracted into Excel from a single tab. Also, there are just few basic data points here, like we have the order number, receive date, settlement date, some information related to the marketing source and other basic stuff. But these are just few basic data points we captured. But if there are more information you are interested in that you would like to capture here, we can customize it for you. Also, if pie charts are not your way of looking into data and probably you like line graphs or bar graphs, we can do that as well for you. So everything you see here can be customized. Moving on to the Open tab. So all the orders based on their received date, either received this year or previous year, are going to qualify to show up on this tab. Now, if I want to just see the orders which were received for the current month or the previous month, you have the received month drop down here. I'm going to choose a month and just say, hey, show me the data for the current year only for the previous month. How many orders did I receive? And it is going to filter us to show down only the orders which were received in the previous month. Apart from that, if you would like to have a quick comparison between the month to date amount for the previous month for the current year versus previous year, you can come and pick both the years and you will see you will have a quick comparison between we received 6 orders in last month for the previous year, but so far we have only 1 order received for this year. So you have a quick comparison between the MTD data for the previous month for both the years. You can also compare your data. So for example, if you wanted to know how are we doing, how's our business working for the first quarter so far, whatever months make up for your first quarter, you come and pick those months here and you will have a quick comparison in line graph and a table that, hey, the business last year in the first quarter so far brought 58 orders and this year so far we are on 5. And we also have the similar filters which we saw on the in process tab. So if you wanted to know how many orders did we receive by an escrow officer or a title officer, escrow assistant, or group the orders received based on transaction type or profile, you have all those combinations here. And once you make that selection, you can export the order details table like we did in the in process tab.
Hey, Akanksha, we had a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Someone mentioned they already have a ton of Power BI reports built. Are they able to get these existing Power BI reports added onto their SoftPro home screen?
So when they say SoftPro home screen, are they saying I'm SoftPro Select application? So I just want to probably try and cover both the examples here. So whenever you buy the Power BI dashboard, it is going to be only used as a web page application. You cannot add it to the SoftPro's start page or home page. And second, all the data is real-time data. So even if it's a web page, it is going to be a real-time data. So yes, you can have this, but it will be on a separate web page application.
Okay, thank you. And another question is, does every user have the ability to change the data settings, or do you have to have admin permissions to do that?
So data settings and everything will happen in SoftPro Select, but yes, all the users you share the dashboard with within the organization will have access to the dashboard and all data here. But there's something called row level security, which is not part of the default dashboard, but if you need, we can apply it for you. So the users, if, for example, let's take a user who is an escrow officer in some of the orders, and when they log into Power BI, they will only see the orders where they are marked as escrow officer. So there's something called row level security, RLS, and we can apply it for you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, moving on to the close tab. So close tab has similar look and feel as the open tab, other than the difference that this one's based on the escrow close date and the escrow status has to be closed. So all the orders which were either closed this year or previous year based on their escrow close date and escrow status of closed are going to show on this tab. We have the same filters. So if you want to just know how many orders did I close in this month or previous month, you have the month selector here. And then if you just want to see data for the current year or previous year, you have that option as well. Now, sometimes we also need to know how much of an order did we receive from the marketing source, which was actually closed, which actually converted into a real business. You have those options as well. So you can consider this tab as multiple reports again. So closed orders by marketing source or closed orders by title officer, escrow officer, the same combination we spoke about. Once you make that selection, you can export this table into Excel. Now, one feature, one important thing which I forgot to mention at the beginning is, as of now, the dashboard captures everything for the current year and the previous year, but we can also customize it if you would like to add more information. So we just have 2 years of data here, but if you would like to capture your history data from last 5 years, we can customize it for you, and you would start seeing all the 5 years as an option here. Also, if in 2026 we are in the month of Jan 2026, the dashboard is automatically going to refresh itself to call 2026 then as your current year, and 2025 will become your previous year. So dashboard will take care of all of that internally. Moving on to the revenue tab, this is by far my favorite tab. So we have always had the challenge to provide a report or a dashboard where we allow the customers to create their own definition of revenue, because we understand for some customers the definition of revenue could be anything that's posted to a revenue contact, and when you choose a revenue ledger, you might already have a revenue ledger set for the month based on the current month. It could be March 2025. So that option is there. Also, for some customers, revenue could be purely everything that's posted to a bill code. Maybe it could be TP, it could be END, or anything that is posted based on the bill code category. You have all the options here with which you can create your own definition of revenue. Not just your own definition of revenue, but also captures anything non-revenue related. So for example, if you wanted to know how many checks did we cut so far to our underwriter, you have the option to choose underwriter as your contact type, and then the Payee payer drop down here will list only the underwriters you have cut the checks to, and you can come and pick the underwriter, and you will see that the revenue tab will only show you the checks that have been posted to the underwriter. Now, all the what transactions actually qualify on the revenue tab. So any disbursement, be it a manually created check or a proform generated transaction, which could be your ledger transfer, which have been posted this year or the previous year based on their transaction date, is going to be considered as a revenue or a transaction that is going to show up on the revenue tab. We also have the option, I know this is a lot of data, but you also have the option to only see the transactions which are probably posted in the current month or the previous month. You can do that as well. Then if you want to see how much of a check, not just to the underwriter, but any other contact have you cut, you have those options as well. This contact type drop down is going to show you all the contacts which you have cut the check to. So everything here, so if I make a selection of maybe a transaction month of Feb, you'll see my contact type drop down or any other drop down. It will narrow it to only show the checks that were cut in the month of Feb. So if you do not have a check that was cut to maybe an HOA contact, the HOA contact is going to disappear the moment you make that selection. We have the order transaction details table here as well, but this one provides you a detailed breakdown of all the amounts to the bill code level. So for example, if you have a ledger transfer, that's a combination of $700 that's coming from your endorsements against the bill code END, and then remaining $300 is coming probably from an ATC charge against the bill code ATC. So now this transaction total is $1,000, but it's actually a combination of $700 from END and $30 from ATC. So you will see two lines here, one for $700 coming from END and another for $300 from ATC. So all the transactions here or all the order details you're going to see are up to the level where you can actually see the bill code breakdown for the transaction. Any questions on this tab? It has the same features, like you can compare the revenue month to date, year to date between the current year and previous year, and all the other possible drop down options where you can count the revenue based on other information like escrow officer, title officer. Okay. Underwriter in process. So underwriter in process is just an expansion of the in process tab. So all the orders that showed up on the in process tab are also going to show up on the underwriter in process tab. But on this tab, we have grouped them together based on the underwriter who is bringing the business in. So we were getting a lot of report requests where they wanted to see how much of a business an underwriter is bringing in for each of the offices or profile, and this tab does that for you. So if your offices are set as profiles in SP admin, if you click on the profile option here, you will see the list of profiles coming from SP admin, and then the column would be all the underwriters and their contribution to each of those profiles. If your offices is not set in profiles, but they are based on the order type, as Lisa showed, title only, escrow and title only, you can choose office as an option here, and you'll see that the columns refresh itself to show you all the offices you have in your orders or in SoftPro Select, and what's the count contribution from each of those underwriters towards those offices. The top table here is a count. The second table is a percentage contribution. So you'll see some profiles have 100% contribution from certain underwriters. And the bottom table, order details, gives you the list of all the orders that are contributing to those counts. For example, if I just want to know, okay, Commonwealth Land Title Insurance Company, it has 6 orders to the profile SX. If I just click on that number, the order detail table here is going to refresh and only show me those 6 orders that are contributing to this tab. And then you can export it to Excel. Okay. Moving on to the forecasting tab. Now, forecasting tab, you can imagine this just an expansion to a revenue tab. So there could be certain orders which are not closed yet. They are set to be closed by the end of the month, and they could have certain transactions sitting in them in a pending status. The moment you post a transaction, it's going to start showing up in the revenue tab. But until you post the transaction, until they are in the pending status, they're going to show up in the forecasting tab. So for example, it's March 11th, and I want to know what would be my combined revenue by the end of the month. I might already have certain closings and transactions which have been posted in the revenue tab. I'll take those, and then I'll come to the forecasting tab and choose my settlement month. As the current month, we might not have any transactions, but I'm going to just show you that. You can choose your month and look for all the transactions which are scheduled to be posted for the month of March, and along with the revenue which has been already posted and the pending transaction, that makes your combined revenue, which is your forecasted revenue for the end of the month. You also have the option to look for revenue based on bill codes or bill code category or the type of transaction. So if you only want to see checks or if you only want to see ledger transfers, you have that drop down as well to only look for those transactions. It also provides you the same combination we spoke about. If you want to see the checks you are potentially going to cut for your underwriter or any other contact type, you have that option as well. We have the same order details table like we saw in the revenue tab. So the top one here provides you a detailed breakdown of all the transactions up to the bill code level. And if you just want to know what the contribution is coming from each of the orders, regardless of the transaction information, you have the order details table at the bottom. Now that was our dashboard in a nutshell, but we are also working on enhancements based on tasks. So you do not see any information related to tasks here, but we are working on adding those as well as additional tabs. So if you want to know how many orders are in a particular task, you would have all that information. Also, we are working on adding turn time information to the dashboard and invoice information. So those are all work in progress. We don't know when it would be ready, but something to look out for. And if you have any questions, let me know. Back to
Thank
you,
you,
Ellen.
Akanksha. I do just want to clarify, because we were getting a few questions on this, is that to reiterate, the Power BI dashboard is available to our SoftPro Select on-premise customers, and it's an optional add-on. So if you have any questions about Power BI or potentially adding it, or if you're not sure if you're a SoftPro Select on-premise customer, you can reach out to your SoftPro sales rep or just shoot an email to sales@softprocorp.com, and they can help you with those questions. And I think that wraps us up for today. We don't have any additional questions that came through, so thank you, both Lisa and Akanksha. Really appreciate you guys running through that information. And just as a reminder for everybody still on the webinar, we've recorded this. This recording will be available likely tomorrow. You guys will receive an email once that recording is available, but you can also visit our blog, blog.softprocorp.com, to view it there. You can also view all of our past episode recordings if you want to look through any of those for any additional information. And we will keep you guys posted on our future episodes and look forward to having you join us again. Thank you.